Hi, and welcome to the Martial Art Business Growth Network podcast. I'm joined here today by my good friend Antonio. How's it going, mate?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really, really good. So, Antonio he's going to tell you a little bit about his martial arts school. He's an amazing martial artist. We've known each other for a long, long time. We used to train together and everything as well. And Antonio's made a massive change in his business over the past 12 months or so. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So you guys can find out what he did to pretty much double his business in the past 12 months. And so you can get some kind of ideas on where it can probably help you, where the gaps are and everything. So let's get straight into it. So,
Okay.
Ants, give us like a quick intro to who you are and your martial arts school and everything.
Okay, so I'm Antonio from Antonio Santorelli's Black Belt Academy, or ASBBA Martial Arts, as it's now known as. Teaching since 2003 in various hall hires. First started off in Harborne, then moved into Quinton. Obviously, lockdown came along, then we had to pivot. So when we reopened, it was Bourneville, Winston Green, then into Bartley Green, and now we're in Bartley Green, Winston Green, and Handsworths. That's pretty short as they can be, really.
Cool. So what about your martial art background? So what is it? What arts do you teach, or what experience?
I teach freestyle karate and kickboxing. I've done MMA, or Vale Tudo, as it was known back in the day. I've done BJJ as well, not to some great level, but enough to fight professionally. I'll have a pro MMA fight when it was not a fashionable thing to do back in the day as well.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, I've had some great instructors over my time. Corey Kane, Peter Edwards, Steve, Matt, James Winsper, yourself, obviously, Mick Broster, Andrew Roberts, all down at Stevie B's gym, Braulio Estima, so have picked up a little bit of knowledge since starting with all them people. So, yeah.
Understatement to the century. You've done, Antonio was active on the competition scene as well. And he's fought everything from points to light contact to full contact to MMA and everything in between. And he was tough as hell. He really, really was very resilient. Anyway, so let's talk about your martial arts school and that, right? So in your martial arts school, it's mainly sport karate and kickboxing, isn't it? Is that right?
That is what we teach, yeah.
Okay, cool. And what are the age groups do you teach? Teach all ages or?
Well, we do all ages, but we do it in various classes. We do 3 to 6 year olds, 7 to 11-year-olds, 12 and above, and a ladies class as well.
So before we started working together, Antonio joined like 12 months ago, joined the Growth Network about 12 months ago.
Yeah, January 2025.
Was it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what did the business actually look like?
Back then, we were 4 days a week. We had 2 days in Winston Green, 2 days in Bartley Green. We were between 80 to 100 members, and we've been at that kind of figure for quite some time. I would say there were systems, but they weren't really followed through or kept on top of. It was the thought of doing anything sort of like frightened me. I procrastinated quite a bit. Obviously, mixing it in with the trophy business as well. I was focusing a lot on the trophy business, that I really did neglect the martial arts, and it wasn't where it should have been, put it that way. But yeah, I think that's about where it was.
Okay.
Not the best shape.
Yeah, I remember, because you didn't really have a handle on your exact student numbers.
Yeah.
When you first started, 1 week we'd talk, and then it'd be like you said you're at 60 something, then the next week it'd be like, oh, we're at 80 something. And so it was a bit chaotic and stuff.
Yeah, but I was sort of lying to myself, because I wouldn't take the ones that left. I weren't taking them off the system quick enough. Sometimes it was like, oh yeah, we're on 80, and then I'd take them off, and it's like, oh my God, we're down back to 60 or 70, and then we build it back up. I didn't take the ones that left, because it was just didn't really work. I was lying to myself in essence. I say to my students, are we lying to yourselves? And that's what I really was doing at the time.
And it's kind of understandable, because you don't just run one business either. You've got trophy business as well. Have you? Pretty successful trophy business. And you've got staff and everything, and it's a full-time running business. It's not like a hobby; it's a full-time business.
It's a full-time business run on part-time hours, which in essence, because I've got to get to class and stuff. And then obviously the people in the team, I've got instructors that work for me in the trophy business. I've got other members of staff that do the school run and stuff like that. So
yeah. So it's called first place for you. Sorry, God, say again.
First place for trophies.
That's it. I think it was something like that. First place for trophy. So, with your martial arts school, what was the biggest kind of problems and frustrations at that stage that you think?
It was Facebook ads, as the old saying goes, not working. But I didn't know what I was doing, in all fairness. It wasn't the case that they weren't working. I just weren't familiar with what was going on. And the follow-up
Yeah.
systems, doing the calls, doing the appointment confirmations, doing talking to the parents, because teaching the classes all the time, it was like they do the trial and I'll get about 30 seconds, if that, with them. Yeah, and they've walked out the door. So there
Yeah.
hasn't been that bond, that relationship, that rapport created with them. Yeah, that was the big struggles when I first started, is keeping on top of systems and being disciplined and consistent with them.
Yeah, that's a common thing as well. People think they've got systems in place, but what they've got is just a habit of the way that they run their school. It's not a well thought out, structured system that anybody else could follow. It's all in their head. That's more common than anything. I mean, the thing that you spoke about with doing the whole trial lesson and then only having like 30 seconds to speak to the new trial family because you got to get back on the mat. That's
Yeah.
really common, isn't it? And
Yeah, definitely.
what did that feel like when you were doing that?
Would it be the case of, oh, they've done really well, these are the prices, this is how often you train. Oh, we'll think about it. All right then. And then off I go and teach. There was no substance to it, so there was a lot of learning to be had. A lot of learning to be had.
So, what was the moment that you realized that something had to change?
Bang. This sounds really bad. Sometimes it's just a case of, I'd love to have a full-time place, who wouldn't? I'd love to have more members, and I always just to think I need to make sure that the club's in a position so that whoever takes over it, has something to take over as well. And not only looking after my family, looking after my instructors and their future families and stuff like that. So having that family feel, because my instructors have been with me for about 20 years, so
Yeah.
it's not a case of that they've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, what was going on outside of the business at the time, like with stress and time and family, a level
Oh,
of confidence as a business owner and stuff?
where do I start? Where do I start? Losing a child, depression, divorce, very, very, very dark, negative thoughts, not knowing where to go, where to turn, hiding, not speaking to anybody. Yeah, it's weren't in a good place. That was like not just for 5 minutes. That's over a number of years.
Yeah. It's a
Number
slip,
of years.
isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think this is. I say this all the time. COVID actually saved me. As mad as it sounds, COVID saved me.
It's a reset for, I think it was a reset for a lot of people, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a big reset. It was I got into audiobooks. That's the time I got into audiobooks. And I think the first book I listened to was The Millionaire Mindset. And I just thought, you know what? It's not about being a millionaire. It's about applying their philosophy into everyday life. And that began to heal. And, since then, if I'm in the car, I'm not even, sometimes I listen to music, but most of the time now it's just audiobooks.
Yeah.
I can't get enough information now. It's madness.
That's good, man. So, what made you think about joining the Martial Art Business Growth Network in the first place?
I've tried other coaching people, great people, great, for what they were doing, but I felt that I was still missing something. These guys were all one-to-ones, but this is more of a community, and it's not a case of you telling me this is what you need to do, this is what we need to do to move forward. It's hearing everybody else saying it as well sometimes, or they're doing something and you think, you know what, I can implement that tomorrow and give it a go. And that's the whole beauty of it. It's that community feel. I obviously I've known you doing your own thing for ages, and throughout COVID, I had the goodness of what you do. You phone me up quite a few times just to check up on me mentally, check up on me on how the school's going. And I thought, well, I've tried these people, I've stopped these people, I'm still in the same kind of stage where I'm at. Let's move things forward. Let's have a chat. And we had a chat. I liked what I heard. You showed me the back end of the community and all the different kind of modules that we cover. And yeah, I just thought, why not? Let's go for it.
Cool.
and never looked back since. Really, it's been what, 18 months, just under.
Yeah, yeah, just under 18 months, I think.
Mm, definitely.
What was there anything that nearly stopped you from joining? Anything that thought, "Oh, I don't know, coaching
Um,
again," or
it just goes down to there's always that element of, it's going to be hard to say price, and that's for anything in life, especially at a
yeah,
time where I couldn't financially justify it, and I was like, I took the plunge, and it goes on the credit card every month, which is fair enough, and it gets paid back every month, But in essence, I could move it off the credit card and into the main business, which is in a nice position to be in, And my return on that investment now is nothing.
yeah. So
Is
I mean,
nothing.
we've got brackets, we've got financial
Yeah,
brackets
yeah,
for awards and stuff inside the Growth Network, and you have moved up um, to like past you surpassed the 10K a month
yeah, yeah,
bracket, which is a significant achievement. A lot of schools don't do it. There
yeah.
are big schools running that don't do it because they just don't have the systems and structures in place that we have. And it's not just charging more for your monthly tuition; it's a
Yeah.
lot than all of that kind of thing without going into everything. But did you think that you'd be able to run a martial arts school that was generating 10K a month? Do you think that was realistic for you back then?
No, when I first started, I think I was between 3 and 5. I
Yeah,
can't remember, but it was like making ends meet, and really struggling. We had numbers, or I thought we had numbers, or things were wrong, or I weren't charging enough. I remember the one conversation you had was over COVID, you're going, you're charging too little, and that was before the growth network. That was 6 years ago. And I came out of COVID and I literally put the price up, because I think we were doing about 30 quid a month or something like that. We put the prices up and everybody's there, everybody's staying, and it's brilliant.
good man. So if you had a time machine and you could go back and talk to that version of yourself then, like just before you joined, right, with the doubts and everything, what would you say to that version of yourself who almost didn't join?
I wouldn't say anything to that person. I would slap the crap out of them. I really would. I really would. In terms of why didn't you do all this before? Why? It's always that why. I would give myself a good shoe-in for being such a donut. Simple as,
I know.
don't, if you're thinking about it, forget thinking, just do it. As one of audio Grant Cardone's one of his quotes that sort of stuck in my head, or the roundabout ways is just say yes and just think about the problems afterwards, because you'll find solutions eventually.
Mm.
And that's what I've had to do. And I said yes, and now it's like, yeah, bang on. Let's move
Nice.
on to the next bracket. Let's get to that 200 member mark now. That's the next goal.
You know what? It's been amazing, like seeing the transformation. Not the transformation of your business. That's different. That's cool as well. That's like a byproduct. Well, for me, as a coach, that's a school owner as well, to understand the shit that you're going through, to see the transformation in you, how you've changed.
Yeah,
That's big. That's massive. It's something that we
yeah,
don't always see in ourselves. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But you've
That
seen
that's
me. You've seen me for, like, when I've lost my lad. You know, coming up to 15 years ago. You've seen me go through my divorce. You've seen me through my bad times. And you've always checked up. You know, there was a period. We weren't going out down the pub, for example, every weekend. But there was that period where you still just pop into my life, going, do you know what? Are you okay?
Mhm.
And it's pretty cool.
It's massive. It is massive to see like the level of confidence and stuff you have,
Mhm.
and more than that, the level of certainty that you have around your business. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? You're approaching it. You're not. The guesswork has gone. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, they're still more calculated.
yeah, definitely, and it's led into like I think a different way that you're running your trophy business as well, because when I speak to you about that, like I rang you, was it yesterday? I think it was
Yeah,
asking
yeah,
for something. It's like you're busy, you're certain. You had to put me on hold and go on to.
yeah.
It's like that certainty, and that's brilliant. That's it's nice to see. I don't know if you can remember. When we first started working together on your school, what was one of the first things that we changed after you joined, or the first thing we worked on at the time?
I think it was recognizing what needed work on first. And I think it was about it was systems. It was the systems, the follow-up systems, the nurturing system, the call system. It was all them little systems.
That was it. The first one, the very first one, because I was battling
Yeah.
with you for weeks, was the follow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was your follow ups and the calls and stuff. So how did you find that? Because I know that I try to hold people accountable as much as I can.
Yeah.
How did you find that? Because it can be quite uncomfortable, maybe.
Definite. It took me what, 8 months to sort of, do it regular. It was like I'd do some calls, and I'll be disciplined in doing it for a week, and then I'll let it slide. Then I'll do it again. I'm like, I'm getting results here. Then I'll let it slide, do it again. I'm getting results here. Then I'll do it again, get more results. Then I'll let it slide. Now it's like next week I've got 2 people to do this role for me so that, I can focus on other things and get them to do the calls, get them to do the follow-ups, because now I'm in a position to be comfortable in actually teaching somebody and how to do what I'm doing.
Good. So what strategies have made the biggest difference, do you think, out of everything that you've covered? Because we've covered out of our 9-step model with all the
Yeah,
loads of sections underneath. What kind of strategies, just give the names and the overviews of the strategies, which ones have made the biggest difference for you personally?
It's been the organic content. It's been Facebook ads.
Yep.
It's been the calls, and it's been other ways of getting leads in apart from Facebook.
Yeah.
So we've had banners going out, leaflets to schools. Back to the old school kind of stuff that we used to do many, many, many years ago. So but they've been working because people are getting fed up of ads on Facebook. In term, they need to be eye-catching for me to stop scrolling. Whether it's usually now it's not the ads you're looking at, it's the reels. You can get lost in those quite quickly. I think that was the other thing that you got me to do was what's that app? Opal, what's it called?
I can't remember.
The one that blocks your socials if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, to get you, to stop your procrastination and scroll.
I'll have a look at it.
So basically,
carry on. Opal. It's called Opal.
Yeah, it stops you from scrolling on social media. It can block all your apps on phone for a certain period of time so that you don't have the choice of going onto your phone and just scrolling and procrastinating. Yeah, that was one of the first things I told him to install.
Yeah, that helped massively because I would just go onto Facebook and just not utilize it in the best way. But if I go on Facebook now during the day, I don't use the app anymore. But when I do go on Facebook, it is for work. It is to put a post up. It is to put a thought up. It is to put something that hopefully could help other people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've done a lot of work with our AI training and stuff as well. How has that helped?
Mate, I can spend hours on that. It's so easy just to and we're not talking about just do me an image or, give me a bit of content. It's structured, it's analysis of what we're doing, it's how to launch various events and campaigns. It's not just I'm doing a grading next week. By the way, guys, come along. It's on the 10th of May or whatever day it is, for example. It's a campaign. It's like an ad on its own. It helps you with communication with your members. It helps with communication to the public as well, so that the public can see what you're doing within the club, and it's adaptable and you can build your own agents and your skill agents and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's mad,
it's great. It's mad. And I'm only scratching the surface still, on it. And it's just crazy.
I mean, my observation is everybody says that they use AI. The difference is how you use it. And you've picked up a lot of the stuff quite well and utilized it, which it just gives a better quality of stuff. It automates a lot of tasks. Like I say, you've only just touched the surface of it. So I'm excited to see what you do with the rest of it, as well as implementing it for your trophy business.
Yeah, definitely that.
So what's your biggest mindset shift that you've had?
Action, taking action, doing it. So just bear with me. Yeah, so it's taking action and acting, and the information that you give out, instead of just leaving it on the shelf for like a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, is do it, give it a go. It's great. It's kind of like when we have our weekly, fortnightly calls and there's something on to do, it is, I'm there, I'm doing it, and give it a go.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why you've made such progress as well, is because you're following the roadmap of the step by step needs to be done next and stuff. And that's pretty cool. So apart from revenue, so you pretty much more than doubled your revenue.
Yeah.
What else improved inside the business apart from just the revenue?
The 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 staff,
Yeah.
they've leveled up, so they've got greater clarity in what we're doing. We've moved on to a rotational curriculum to make it, because that was another battle we had
Yeah.
throughout this journey, and using AI, we've created I created the website that's given the instructors pretty much a lesson plan from when somebody walks through the door to getting their black belt. So they know what they're doing week by week. So they all log on, click what week we're on, what level they're on, which level of students, whether they're beginners, intermediates, and they've got a rough idea and a framework of what to teach, and they get on and do it, and then come grading, everybody excels, which is good.
So you're talking about your staff developments and stuff. Um, what was your staff development like before? Did you have staff? How's that?
I had helpers. I had
Okay.
helpers, right? But they're now instructors. They were black belt. They were black belt helpers, which was not degrading to them, but obviously they were more than what I was using them for, in essence. Now they're
Yeah.
teaching. They're teaching for me, and that's my next step, is the martial arts university development programs, to actually structure that and get that launched now. And that's the next move. And so we're going to get them, we're going to get more helpers and build it forwards from there.
That's cool. So in your classes, you get
Mhm.
more. You've spoken about to me that you get more of a chance to speak to like parents and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that like? So when your classes are running, it's like, are you still running backwards and forward to what's happening there?
I may teach one class. I'm there every day, but I'm either front of house, chatting to the new prospects, chatting to the members, building that kind of community and that rapport with them and getting to know them a little bit better. And through our conversations, they sort of see my vision, and we talk about society and how crazy it's going, and they see where I'm coming from, and
Yeah.
they understand what we're trying to teach. Because I always say to them, it goes, we're not teaching punching and kicking. I want to take kids off the streets. I want to give them that positive mindset to excel in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And for me personally, having lost a child, I don't want no other parent to go through that at
Mm.
all. And with everything, especially around Birmingham, there is news reports pretty much every day of somebody with knives and getting into scraps and stuff like that. So it's worthwhile. That's what we're trying to get people to see and get them to do. Is
That's
to
good.
come.
So it sounds like you're more in touch with what's actually happening within your school, and in turn, what's actually happening in your community because of the structure that you've put in
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Because the structure
Definitely.
let's be honest, the structure you put in place isn't the normal structure that people put in place. They're usually there on the mats teaching, and then now front of house doing stuff
Yeah.
there, which is a cool structure. But I think what you've done for this level of where you're at, I think it's worked really well for you, because your retention's really good now, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it's getting it. Yeah, it's not the case of 20 in and 18 out. It's 20 in, and we've got like 5 or 6 going out at times. Which the retention, for me, in my head, it needs improving on. But there's so many things that I'm probably doing that I don't realize that's helping with retention.
Yeah.
And not teaching is definitely one of those. It's given me the chance to just relax with the parents and talk to them and let them know how great their kids are doing. Because when I've stood back, when there's that old saying, when you step back from your business, you see a lot of things. But when you step back from your classes, you also see a lot of things, And what I've noticed in terms of how our instructors first started out teaching compared to how they're teaching now, they've been on
Yeah.
their own kind of journey, and they're sort of teaching the way that I like people to be taught,
Yeah.
and they're seeing my vision, and they're seeing the club's vision, and they're on board with the mission as well. Because before it was like, oh, they're coming to class, they're helping teaching, and they weren't really sold on the club itself. Even though they've been loyal for 20 years, they weren't sold in the mission that we're trying to achieve. They didn't quite understand it, but now they
Mm.
do. Now they do, and they're brilliant for it. And the
Uh,
parents are seeing it, everybody's seeing it. And when you've got a club like that where everybody's pulling the same way, it becomes a happier place.
yeah, that's true. It's about creating a culture. I mean, that's what it
Yeah, yeah,
is it? It's creating a proper culture. And if everyone has the same vision and same understanding, the same values, then it's a win-win for everybody.
definitely.
I mean, and that means when you make changes or improvements, everybody understands why, because they see the bigger picture. You worked hard on creating the business to get it to where it is now. But what started happening once it got to this structure? What did you start see happening in yourself and in everybody once that structure was kind of put in place?
For me, it was when people, having the sales in inverted commas, selling what we're doing, but we don't sell what we do anymore. It's self-talking what we're doing and the message we give, the messages that we give out.
Oh.
That's what's helped so far.
So, was there a specific moment that you looked at your score and you thought, you know what, this is working? You know, that moment where you just kind of see like packed classes or you see something has
January,
was it?
January this year was the first. No, it was October, November. It was like everything, with the first 8 months of putting all the systems in place, um, taking action on a regular basis, and things were starting to move. I could see a little shift of a bit of momentum coming along. And then we had that one call at Christmas time, and you guys, right then, guys, pens down. I'm like, what do you mean pens down? What's this? Don't do nothing. No, I want to carry on. We're building this momentum up, right? And then you're like, so he goes, right, do nothing. I was like, okay, do nothing. So we closed the school, didn't do nothing, didn't do no calls, didn't do anything else. And then January, we went back on it. It took me about 2 or 3 weeks just to get back into the flow of it, thinking, I wish we didn't have this break over Christmas. I'm finding it hard. And then I put an offer out to members and stuff like that. And I think we do like that 6-week sprint for in
Mhm.
our group. And mine was, it was, I want to implement these systems, make sure I've got these systems perfect. And he goes, yeah, but that's not tangible. I goes, what do you mean? He goes, there's no figure to that. I'm like, okay. He goes, you want to get more members? Give me a figure. I was like, and I just said 30, just for the sake of saying it. I just picked it out. Never ever in my life have we ever got 30 members in a month or 6-week period. And offer went out. And all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know, it was just floods of people coming in. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And we hit 30 in 4 weeks. By the end of January, we hit 30 members. And I was like, I've never had 30 people sign up in 1 month, probably even 2-month or 3-month cumulative, and this year we've been averaging about 20 new members a month, which is definitely unheard of.
That's it.
Yes, we've had people leave, but we've we've done doubled, 50% increase in numbers,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
pretty cool.
crazy.
When you started me, you were
Yeah,
it was about 4 grand,
yeah,
and then it's like 10. That's pretty significant. It's really
definitely a big jump in 12 months.
it's right. Again, it's just a testament to your mindset shift,
Yeah,
your consistency, implementing, putting the systems in place. It's like opening the floodgates, and then once you
definitely.
open the floodgates, as long as the systems keep happening and monitored, it'll
Yeah,
just go and go,
keep
which is
going. Yeah, yeah,
and then create more problems when you got loads more students. But anyway, we'll
yeah.
get to that. But so now you feel like consistent 10K plus months. What does that actually feel like?
It makes me think, what more can be achieved. It's not even a case of the financial side of it. It's the case of like January, I hit 30 members in a new month. Now I've just hit 10K, so it's given me the belief that if I set a target, there's a good chance that I could bloody well hit it.
Yeah.
So knowing that you can hit targets if you take action, that's the shift that I've had, what comes after that is a bonus,
Yeah.
so hit, the 10K that, in a month, that's been a bonus. It's knowing that I can make a target, create a target, have a plan to get to that target and hit it or come very extremely close to it,
So it's
and I
like,
say it's like fighting, it's if you're going to get beat, make sure that they beat you because you were trying your best rather than you letting them beat you. And that's what it felt like, it's the fight of got a target, but I'm not really prepared for that fight. I've just let that target drift away and beat me. Now
yeah,
it's like, nah, mate, you ain't out, that target's being smashed.
good. It's good to hear. Now, what are you, do you feel proud of yourself right now?
Do you know what, Ryan? I'm one of those people that don't really say much, like going to the Hall of Fame. I didn't, people were going to me, you got to say it. And I'm like, I don't want to, I'm one of those that I want to see what other people are achieving. I preferred seeing other people's success.
There's
That's
nothing wrong
me,
with being proud of yourself though
you
and being
know.
so.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so, but for me, I think knowing that I can hit targets, um, why not? Let's just say it. Be proud. Why not? At the end of the day, who'd thought I'd be sitting on getting interviewed? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things. It's a first for everything.
That's good though. You've worked hard for it. What is your lifestyle now? You're running two successful businesses.
Yeah.
What's that allowed you to do outside of the business, or feel, or think, or anything?
It's made me feel like, if I want to take a bit more extra time off, I can do.
Yeah.
If I want to go somewhere, I can do, you
Mhm.
know. And if I want to treat myself to something, I can do and not worry about it.
Yeah.
Prime example, last year, obviously meeting up with yourself is going to Mexico, for my daughter's 18th for my 50th, I thought, "Do you know what, let's do it." Before I would have think I'm not spending that kind of money. I'd love to go to Mexico, but I'm not spending that money. Where am I going to get it from? And what I did, I just lobbed it on the credit card and thought, "Do you know what? I'll pay that problem off another time." And that's what we did.
Yeah, we mess up over it.
It's
Like my
yeah, yeah,
family went for drinks and went for food and stuff. It was nice. It was cool.
yeah.
It was cool. And
It was good.
you would have thought all those years ago training and beating the snot out of each other in class,
Yeah.
like we'd be abroad in Mexico.
Abroad
I mean, so it's crazy,
at
isn't
the
it?
at the same time, just by chance as well.
So what do you think would have happened if you stayed where you were?
I'll still be where I was.
How would you have felt?
Crap, just like I was then. Would I have had my martial arts club at the time? No, I probably might have jacked it in at the
Yeah.
end of the day. That's, or I'd be struggling with that one and focusing on just the trophies and not getting the right balance and being stressed and, but still having a relatively positive outlook, but just not having direction,
Yeah.
having the end goal in mind, but not knowing which way I'm going is quite scary at times. But now that
Mm.
I know there's, there's the goal and there's the pathway, makes a huge difference.
So
Not relying on Santorelli nav to get onto the journey and running around like a headless chicken.
So why do you think a lot of like school owners, they stay stuck like for years? What is it that you're seeing or hearing or observing that they're just stuck for years, just doing the same thing over and over again, making the same excuses? What do you think that is?
You just took the words out of my mouth. It's the excuses. You know, their limiting beliefs, their stereotype excuses. The community's not doing this, or there's not enough people
Yeah.
around to do the other or build a school. Yes, but it's the lacking of taking the action and
Yeah.
not wanting to spend a couple of quid on a Facebook ad or even a banner or a few leaflets or getting in the car and going to schools and dropping off or door-to-door leafleting. This is how it's been done. This is how it's always been done, and it must be right. So the old way sometimes isn't always the best way.
Well, the thing is, times have changed, and if we don't adapt and change along with it, then we're
Yeah,
going to get left behind. You know what I mean? That's more relevant now more than
yeah,
ever.
definite.
Some different things. So, like talking about the Growth Network coaching program, who would you say it's for? What kind of school owner would you say it's for?
All school owners, I would say, because it caters, it caters on the group calls for the under 10K a month, and you've got your group call for the ones that are more successful, but the pathway's the same, the framework's the same. It's just on different levels. That's all it is. And it gives you the opportunity of improving in yourself, improving in your business. And in turn, that will help you improve your own level. And that's what it's all about. And then you can, you'll take your ideas off the guys that have been around for a while, and you take, even your ideas off other school owners who are at the same level as you. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Do you know what? Because they're on the same level as you and you're hearing their ideas, you're thinking to yourself, why aren't I doing it?" Or you can say something and they'll think exactly the same thing. And there's no ego. It's just everybody pulling together and praising each other and helping each other, giving up their time for each other, and it's not just a case of our group calls or our intensive masterminds. It's even the case of, let's go and hire out an office space and let's all go in there and work for the day,
Yeah.
on the ad hoc basis, which everybody does as well.
So with the community and stuff, I know that I spoke to a few people in the past and have said that they're intimidated by working or doing calls or anything with other school owners because I think it's just going to be like really, um, I've got this many students and like egotistical and serious and everybody up their
The,
own that kind of thing. What's your experience of it?
Okay, so the analogy is, which I'll give the analogy to every student I have as well, it's the first day at school syndrome, your first day at work syndrome. You are going to walk in, you are going to be a bit anxious, you are going to have a bit of anxiety going on. It's like starting a brand new martial arts, is how your white belts are thinking. You know,
Mhm.
they're going to walk into your class thinking, oh my God, look at them. They're a black belt. I'm going to get my ass whooped. But in fairness, nobody cares. They just want you to do well. That's the way. And the more you work at it, the higher belts you're going to get, or the more members you're going to get, or the less retention or people walking out you're going to get, or bigger income, whatever your goal is, whether you want to expand your school, or get another unit, a satellite club, it's there. The opportunities are there. It's just having the balls to take the opportunities and
Definitely.
stick to it.
It's true. I mean, it's a friendly community. We have a laugh in there as well, in both
Definite.
the and also like if anybody needs that one to one attention, just book a one to one
Yeah,
session.
yeah,
But as many
definitely.
as you need a week. Uh,
Even messaging other members directly, going, give us help on this because I've seen you've done really well. And there you go. They give you whatever their framework, their spreadsheets, whatever they want to give you,
mm,
and they'll work with you.
and in the community as well with the chats.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, the school group's good as well. There's marketing tips, AI tips. People when people have problems, they post it up, and everybody shares their little 2 pence worth, which is always great values, more than 2 pence worth. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, that's good. So, what would you say to anybody that's on the fence about finding out more about the growth network?
Come along, come along. Give Rick a call, give him a chat, have a chat, meet up with him. You got nothing to lose. You're not going to be in a worse position by not sitting with him or sitting with him for an hour and listening to what he's got to say and how it's going to work. At the end of the day, it's up to you whether you want to make change. If you want to stay where you are, then obviously you don't have to do nothing. But obviously if you've made that call, something's wrong, something needs to change and you want that help. It's like an addiction trying to go into rehab, but this is a rehab to fix your school.
Yeah, true. So, back to you now. What's in the future for you? Where is Antonio Santorelli?
You know what? I've not actually thought that, because the last time we did this process of knowing where we're going to be was, I want to have a full-time school. I want to have a nice gym. I want all singing, all dancing, and yeah, it was that kind of like ego dream of when I first started martial arts. I just want to reach as many people as I can.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. I want to get to 200 by the end of the year, and I just want to be at peace with myself. If I'm at peace with myself and hand on heart can say, you know what, these students, they're becoming better people, making a change in the community, making a change in society, and that's a job well done. It's not
That.
about the 10, 20, 30,000 square foot venue. It'd be nice, but that'd be another set of headaches completely. But it's about making sure that society turns itself around, because at the moment it's just going downwards and it needs more people to drag it back up.
That's so true. Very, very true. Antonio, it has been beautiful talking to you, and it's a pleasure working with you, mate. It's definitely a pleasure seeing your growth and development over the past like 12 months or so.
Now, thank you. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm excited to see which way you go now. So, not which way or how far you go, I should say.
Me too. It'd be good. It'll be really good. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you to Antonio. If you want to find out any more about him or his school, you can reach him on Facebook, link Antonio
Yeah, yeah.
Santorelli. If you find out any more about the Martial Art Business Growth Network, you can click the link wherever you see this video, or reach out to me, Rick Dubidat, on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, take care, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Nice one. See you later, mate. Bye.